Okay, so if you found an image like this online, and we were to bring it into a program, it's going to have all this stuff around it, right? So we want to learn how to remove that. Probably try to get in the habit of naming files. So for me, for today, I'm going to go into here, and if you don't already have a folder for this class, I'll just call this game design for now. And then I'm going to make another folder for soundboard. And then I'm going to name this as police car. Alright, so I have that file saved, as you would probably be doing when you find images online. And then I'll open Photoshop. Alright, as we know, Photoshop is, your kind of your image editor. Not really for creation so much, even though you can, do a lot with brushes and things like that. But kind of for image editing. Alright, so now I'm going to open that file, and I will go, and I'm going to go through the process to remove all this background. Alright, so what would be the easiest way to remove all the background from this? Anybody have any ideas? I heard a couple things, but I didn't quite understand. The wand, right? I always start right with the magic wand, right? That's probably the fastest way. But what we're seeing here is it's picking part of the roof here also, right? And what that's happening because the magic wand selects by similar colors. So what's another tool? Or actually, how could we get rid of this selection? How do we get rid of these dotted lines to deselect? Control D, good, right? So now maybe I'll try something that's a little more precise. Let's try the quick selection tool. Why is that? Oh, alright, so this file is brought in as an index file. If you get something like that, just change your mode to RGB. Since we know that the end result of this project is going to just be on screen, we're not really printing it, RGB would be the best choice for that. Alright, so it's still choosing the roof in here, but if I go and press the Alt key, I can, let's see if I can refine this selection. Yep, there we go. So now I'm just pressing the Alt key and it turns that selection into a minus. Alright, so if you haven't used Photoshop for a little while, this might be a good review for you. Alright, and now I'm going to press delete or backspace. Now I want this to be transparent. Alright, it's not giving me that as an option. Anybody know what I have to do so I can have a transparent background? Delete what? Well, I did that. Actually, let's see. Control delete. Let's see if there's some. Well, that still made it a color. I want transparency. That's right. That's right. So I can just unlock it. All right. And now if I delete it, we have our transparent background. All right. That's what this checkerboard pattern indicates, is a transparent background. All right. So I'm going to get rid of the top area. I'll do the same on the bottom. That's a lot easier to select. And I'm just going to drag down there. All right. And now I have just the police car by itself. Oh, I got a little more down here. Which maybe I'll just use the eraser at that point to get rid of that. Which is grouped here. No, where is it? There it is. If you want to make this brush size smaller, what's our keyboard shortcut for that? To do this? Anybody know what I'm pressing to make the circle bigger or smaller? No, that would zoom in on your screen by doing Control plus, Control minus. I want to make my brush size smaller. The bracket, yes. So the square brackets underneath the plus and the minus are going to make that brush size bigger or smaller. All right, so this is ready now. Or actually, you know what? We're going to get this ready also because in Animate we have we're going to have button appearances. So what I'm going to have you guys do with this is you're going to make additional layers that are going to have a different appearance to them. So we're going to duplicate this layer by right-clicking it and saying duplicate. And then to select what's in this layer, I'm going to hold the control key. So if you notice on my layers palette, the hand has a little box on it. So by doing that, I can select it. And actually, I don't even know if I had to do that. And I'm going to actually, let's see. I don't know if I had to. I'm going to use what's called an adjustment layer. And I'm going to change the hue and saturation. All right, which is kind of your colors of them. All right, so see when I do that and I adjust, I guess since that background is transparent, so I could make this so that when we hover over it, it's going to change to this color. All right, and you can go and we can talk about other ways of doing that. Oh, and also, so these adjustment layers are really good because they are called in this category of non-destructive editing. So if I went 5 steps ahead and did all these other things and then decided I want to come back and make changes to the color, I can do that without losing all the changes that happen after that. So with these adjustment layers, it's non-destructive editing. However, what happens, I believe, is that it's going to make the change to both layers. So if I were to turn this off, see, it made that to that layer also. So what you want to do when you're choosing these adjustment layers is press this little down arrow here. And now I believe, yep, so now I have 2 appearances of that color. All right, so again, if you're using the adjustment layer, you want to make sure you press this button here, which says this adjustment layer clips to the layer. And so it's not adjusting all those layers below it. All right, so now this is ready to be brought into Animate. To retain the layers, when we do that, we're going to save this as a Photoshop file. All right, normally, you would think of transparency. What would be the file format if we want to retain transparency in a file? PNG was normally what we use, but the PNG will flatten the layers. All right, so I'm going to save that as a Photoshop document. All right,